welcome. You're watching Times Now. I'm Sagarika Mitra. First they chose silence, then they denied the reality, and now, 118 days later, when the entire world has taken note of the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh, the opposition in India seems to have woken up, but not to seek justice or demand accountability. The purpose for now seems to be politicize the plight of Hindus to target the Modi government. Today, as ISKCON leads global prayers for its devotees suffering relentless harassment under the Yunus administration, the plight of Hindus is undeniable. ISKCON's Chinmoy Krishna Das remains in jail. Two monks, Adipurush Shyam Das and Ranganath Das Brahmachari, have been arrested after visiting him. Hindu homes, shops and temples are on the target of fundamentalists. Yet, the opposition's response has been to draw false parallels. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti, whose politics revolves around appeasement, has compared Bharat to Bangladesh to revive the Muslims under threat in India narrative. She has also equated Umar Khalid, a poster boy for the Tukre gang, with Chinmoy Krishna Das, the symbol of Hindu resistance in Bangladesh. Now the Congress party, after its delayed and one-word kind of condemnation on Twitter, is now accusing the Modi government of cowardice. Mamta Banerjee, after months of silence, says she will follow the centre's lead, while her nephew Abhishek Banerjee is demanding tougher action against Bangladesh by the Modi government.
जब हम में और बांग्लादेश में कोई फर्क ही नहीं रहेगा, हमारे यहाँ हम माइनॉरिटीज को तंग करेंगे, उनकी मस्जिदों को तोड़ के शिवलिंग ढूंढेंगे.
Whatever is happening with the minorities in Bangladesh, same thing is happening in India.
It is happening in our country. Every day minority is under attack. Every day, the place of religion. Every day under attack.
And it is, the onus is on the union government to take it with the Bangladesh government or the interim government who is doing such atrocities.
मोदी सरकार की कायराना, बुज़दिलाना और अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तर पर कमजोर पड़ना.
देखो, महबूबा मुफ्ती देश को गुमराह कर रही है और कुल मिलाकर के पाकिस्तान प्रस्त जो उनकी एक आदत है. अगर आपको हिंदुस्तान में रहना पसंद नहीं है तो मुझे लगता है कि कहीं और जाकर रहिए.
महबूबा मुफ्ती का बांग्लादेश के साथ जो कंपैरिजन वाला विवादास्पद बयान दिया है, ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, निंदनीय है.
महबूबा मुफ्ती हो, कांग्रेस हो, इंडी अलायंस हो, वो भारत की तुलना बांग्लादेश से करती है. इस्लामिक जिहाद के बारे में आप बोल नहीं पाती महबूबा मुफ्ती जी, तो आप भारत की तुलना बांग्लादेश से करेंगी.
Now, 10 days after Sheikh Hasina's government fell, Prime Minister Narendra Modi became the first global leader to address the attacks on Hindus during his Independence Day speech. The MEA too has repeatedly conveyed India's concerns to the Yunus administration. As recently as the 29th of November, the External Affairs Ministry made it clear that ensuring the protection of minorities is the responsibility of the interim Bangladesh government.
मैं आशा करता हूं कि वहां पर हालात जल्द ही सामान्य होंगे. खास करके 140 करोड़ देशवासियों की चिंता कि वहां हिंदू, वहां के अल्पसंख्यक, उस समुदाय की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित हो.
I would say that India has consistently and strongly raised with the Bangladesh government the threats and targeted attacks on Hindus and other minorities. Our position on the matter is very clear. The interim government must live up to its responsibility of protecting all minorities.
So the plight of Hindus in Bangladesh demands global action and not political blame game. So we are asking, is the outrage that's now coming in, is the concern that's now being raised, are the questions that are now being asked by some sections of the opposition, is all of this genuine, or are these belated tears being shed to advance some kind of political agenda? Let's open this up. We have Rohan Gupta, Bharatiya Janata Party National Spokesperson, joining us tonight. Amit Raina, activist. Aditya Gupta, PDP's Youth Vice President. Professor Monojit Mandal, political analyst. Dr. Nikul Patel of the Congress Party. Let me open this up with the PDP Youth Vice President, who's joining us today. I want to ask you, Mr. Gupta, Mehbooba Mufti goes on to say that the situation in Bangladesh is no different from what's happening in India. Substantiate what you're saying. Tell us about the exact instances that you're talking about.
She expressed her concern about the targeting of Hindu minorities in Bangladesh. And further on, she said that, see, we can lead this by setting an example. They were setting it that at least this thing doesn't happen in our country. Be it Sumbal, be it RPF, Jawan killing random people, identifying random Muslim people on a train. These things have basically incorporated as far as our society and our country is concerned. There has been instances on many fronts has just been happening where targets have started to happen. 1991 Act, be it 1991 Act of the Parliament, which says that the status quo as far as on 15th of August 1947 will be maintained with regard to all the religious places except the Ram Janmabhoomi.
No, 1 second. Are you aware of the gravity of the plight of Hindus in Bangladesh? Do you know what has been happening with them for the last 118 days? They are being hounded out of their homes. Their homes are being targeted. Their shops are being vandalized. Women are being targeted. Women are facing harassment. The fact that one is a Hindu in Bangladesh today has become possibly the biggest sin. Because there you have fundamentalists who are now targeting people on the basis of their religion. By drawing this kind of a parallel at a time where the necessity is to speak in one voice, aren't we? Aren't we kind of downplaying the attacks on Hindus?
Who is saying anyone is downplaying the attacks on the Hindus, and especially in Bangladesh? Who says that? The fact of the matter is that the concern was first the state. If you read the state, go by the statement, state says that, see, we are very much concerned about the minorities in Bangladesh, but we being a secular country should ensure that similar kind of a situation is not in our country. Our country is also heading towards that kind of situation.
But do you know, Mr. Gupta, that there are voices coming in from Bangladesh itself, where there is a conversation that has started to take off the word secular. And for this, let me bring in Rohan Gupta of the BJP. Mr. Gupta, the charge that the opposition is leveling on you today, while you are talking about their hypocrisy, while you have been reminding them that you have all the tears for Gazans, you have tears for Palestinians, but when it comes to Hindus, why is the response muted? But now the opposition says, you are in government, what are you doing to help persecuted Hindus?
See, absolutely. The whole country is watching the hypocrisy. For 5 months, they could not utter a single word for Bangladeshi Hindus, and now they're asking government. Obviously, they have the right to ask this government what they are doing. But before that, could they have courage even to raise a single word for Hindus? That no, because of their minority appeasement politics in India. The whole country has seen the scenes in Bangladesh where mass atrocities have been happening against Hindus. Not even a single Indi-Gadbandha leader came out and spoke for that. And now they are talking about action. This is the heights, man. How can you compare situation in Bangladesh and India? In India, are Muslims treated that way? No. We have seen in Mumbai, the whole rally was organized by Muslim leader AIMIM, where the lakhs of Muslims attended the rally. Do you feel in Bangladesh Hindus can do that? No. You cannot compare those. This shows the Akbar Naxal mindset of Indi-Gadbandha leaders. They kept mum when the Hindus were butchered in Bangladesh. Now they've seen that the mood of the country is different. Now they want to play vote bank politics. That's why they are accusing this government. This government is very, very sensitive. They know what to do. They have cautioned Bangladesh government on various occasions. You show me.
Dr. Nikul Patel, constantly the BJP has in fact accused leaders of the opposition of adopting double standards when it comes to the issue of persecution that the Hindu community faces. Now there are leaders of the Congress party after almost 100 days who are saying that what is the government doing? Why isn't the government doing enough for Hindus in Bangladesh? But what happened for the last so many days? Why is it that this kind of belated sympathy is coming out, and also there is no call for unity? What is happening is you are using this tragedy to further, attacks on the government.
See, firstly, we are not politicizing the event. Basically, we are criticizing what is happening in Bangladesh to the Hindus. And we are always with all people in the country, whether it is Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, and we know how we have worked since last when we have independence. Now, secondly, see, Congress is always trying to say that whenever something wrong is happening, then it should not be supported, whether it is by anyone. So over here now being into opposition, it's our prime responsibility that our honorable Prime Minister should intervene and kindly do something which will help the people of the Bangladesh who are in minority there. But now when it comes to the problem of minorities, we have find so many incidents that are happening in our country. As Rohan Gupta is quoting some incident, but definitely we have seen so many incidents other also happening in our country, such as mob lynching, then hijab, all these things we are seeing in our country.
Drawing a parallel between what is happening in Bangladesh to, you know, these kind of narrative that you are pushing that, okay, minorities are under threat in India as well. Look at what's happening in India. Similar things are happening in Bangladesh. What's the larger motive?
See, it is not about to draw a parallel line. It's about the injustice that is happening to the minorities somewhere and somehow in our country.
No, but do you
also
agree with what Mehbooba Mufti said? In a way, you seem to be completely concurring with what Mehbooba Mufti said.
See, Mehbooba Mufti had shown her concern about the injustice happening to the people in minority in Bangladesh, and she had also quoted some minorities which are being affected in our country. It's our collective responsibility that no one should get injustice in our country. That is the ultimate line what I feel from her statement.
So doesn't this downplay the plight of Hindus, persecuted Hindus in Bangladesh?
See, again I am saying that whatever is happening to the Hindus in Bangladesh is not correct. It's injustice to them, and we as a country near to them, we must support them. And as our country at Bharatiya Janata Party again come with the law of Citizen Amendment Act, they must. I wish that Pradhan Mantri should intervene and we should come into the rights, protect the right of the people who are in there, in minority especially, who are being affected. Now, it's only concern that whatever injustice is happening in Bangladesh, we have to also introspect and look into what is happening to our people in the country.
BJP will respond to that point that you made with regards to the CAA, but let me also go across to Professor Manojit Mandal. Professor Mandal, in the last few days, we have seen West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, TMC General Secretary Abhishek Banerjee take a stand when it comes to the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh. Obviously, they've raised questions when it comes to the way the center is handling it. We've heard Abhishek Banerjee go on to say that even if we want to do something, we cannot because this is not in the purview of a state government's jurisdiction. But many would ask, why has it taken so long to speak for Hindus in Bangladesh?
No, I think you have not followed Mamata Di. Mamata Di has been maintaining this since 21st July from a political rally in Kolkata, a very famous political rally. But at that point of time, you had a completely different take on this, saying that Mamata Di is trying to open the door for all the Bangladeshis. That's not the case. He made it very clear the people who are suffering because of those kind of agitation, I mean, their relatives are here in India, in Bengal, they are most welcome to stay for some time. But you made a hullabulla, so as facts remain that Trinamool Congress has been consistently, playing this with the people of Bangladesh because most of the borders are shared with Bengal. Whatever is happening in Bangladesh will directly impact, the demography and the business in Bengal. Everyone can understand. But the government of India, has it ever even tried to take the opposition on board? What about in special session in the parliament? Now the parliament is in session, the government of India and the ruling dispensation must have this particular issue on the parliament for a concrete kind of a solution. They saw this tragedy and this quote-unquote revolution, the consequences of the revolutions you can see under their nose. They did not help Sheikh Hasina at that point of time, neither diplomatically and otherwise. Now they have sheltered Sheikh Hasina, that's very fine. She has remained a friend of India for a very long period of time. But the government of India now, with the opposition on board,
what is the stand of the Trinamool Congress when it comes to the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh? Because recently, it was Mamata Banerjee who said, I stand with whatever the center is doing in this matter, but it is Abhishek Banerjee who says that the center should speak to Bangladesh in a language that they understand because the pictures and the examples coming in from Bangladesh are horrifying. What is the stand of the party?
Absolutely. The stand of the party is stated very clearly by two of the topmost leaders. Ms. Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee, that one is come to the foreign policies. All India Trinamool Congress remains with the government of India. But the government of India has to take the initiative. What are they doing? I'm repeating. Have they even called a meeting with all the political parties now that they're in parliament? They should immediately take all the political parties on board and sit together, decide what should be done. The people are really suffering. The Hindus are suffering. The Christians are suffering. The Buddhists are suffering. There are 0.34% of other communities also, along with 10% of the Hindus. All of them are suffering, and they are in dire needs of support from India.
So
and
the
government of India
Congress
must work
also
the talk now.
unequivocally condemns the actions of fundamentalists against Hindus and ISKCON.
Absolutely. Anywhere.
Okay.
Anywhere.
Okay. Do stay with us. Do stay with us and hold that thought. I'll bring in the BJP. Do hold that thought, Mr. Mondal. I also Amit Raina on the panel. Mr. Raina, today the opposition, after 118 days, is making noises about the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh. Mehbooba Mufti has said that there is no difference between India and Bangladesh. How do you like to respond to what Mehbooba Mufti has said?
I think Mehbooba Mufti forgets that it was right under her nose and her father's nose that what happened to the minorities of Kashmir is exactly what is happening to the minorities in Bangladesh. It was under her leadership and her father's leadership that 500,000 people were ethnically cleansed out of Kashmir. For last 30 years, we have been seeing continuous genocide and killings of Hindus in Kashmir. For last 30 years, we have seen vandalization, encroachment, demolition, taking over of the Hindu institutions and Hindu temples in Kashmir. And for last 30 years, we have been seeing PDP constantly supporting jihad, war against India, and multiple things. So expecting a PDP leader to speak in favor, in support of Hindus in Kashmir would be the most, sorry to use that word, but would be the most idiotic thing. And you have other two parties. You have Congress, which has a track record of persecuting the minority of this country. Who forgets the 84 carnage? How 6 were killed in this country. And then you have TMC. You are expecting support for Hindus of Bangladesh from TMC, a party which stops the World Heritage and Cultural event, the Durga Puja for a Muslim ritual, which puts a ban on that, which goes and openly says that there should be Sharia in Jammu, and Sharia in West Bengal.
This person is speaking like an idiot.
Mr. Mondal, let him complete. He's making his opening remark. He's been patiently listening to all the panelists. Let him make his opening remarks. Go ahead, Mr. Raina.
Expecting support, even a voice of sympathy from these political parties will be wrong, and it will be foolish to do so. They have a track record of India hatred, especially the PDP. And thankfully, the people of Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir people have also realized the worth of Mehbooba Mufti and how she plays a divisive politics, and that is why they have been reduced to 3 numbers in Jammu and Kashmir. Apart from hatred against India, that is all Mehbooba Mufti has. That is why even her daughter has lost the election.
Okay. Rohan Gupta of the BJP. So far, you have accused the opposition of adopting vote bank politics, of being in denial, of speaking about Gaza and Rafah and not about the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh because of some kind of compulsions. Now the opposition is turning back and telling you, अरे हम तो मुद्दा उठा रहे हैं, हम तो पार्लियामेंट में भी सवाल उठा रहे हैं, हम तो सरकार से सवाल जवाब कर रहे हैं, पर सरकार क्या कर रही है? सरकार ने ऐसा क्या किया to in fact give any kind of solace or any kind of actionable help to those Hindus who are facing this kind of persecution on an everyday basis ever since the Sheikh Hasina government fell?
See, after 118 days, now this opposition's conscience has arisen and they are talking about Hindus. Government बैठी नहीं है 118 दिन तक. Government को जो करना है, government कर रही है. उनको strictly 2-3 बार action दिया गया है और आगे हम देखेंगे if it doesn't stop, the government will take its action. But जो लोग आज तक बोलने के लिए तैयार नहीं से 118 दिन तक, वो आज government में पूछ रहे हैं.
Mr. Mondal, 1 second, let him complete.
Don't speak in between. Don't see, Mr. Monojit, this is not the way debate is done. Please keep quiet. It is important to understand their intention. Why they are questioning government now? Why after 118 days? What stopped them? It is because they wanted to please somebody. They cannot do that. The country is watching that negative politics. Government will take definitely action, but the opposition parties which have kept quiet for 180 days, they have spoken for Palestine, they have spoken for Gaza, they have no right to ask this government what they are doing. Because this government understands their responsibility, and you will see in the coming days what the befitting reply will be given and ensure that all the minorities there, including Hindus, they are protected. You are questioning
Mr. Rohan Gupta, what is this befitting response you're talking about?
It will be definitely that it can be related to trade. It can be, then it can go to different level. Bangladesh is so much dependent on India for all their policies and economic.
No, 1 second. Okay. Mr. Mondal, what is your rebuttal to that? You say the centre should speak to the Yunus administration in a language that they understand. Here, the BJP spokesperson is dropping a big hint. They are saying that constantly we have raised the issue. It was first Prime Minister Narendra Modi who, during his Independence Day speech, who raised his concerns. The government has been sending its message, expressing its concerns. In the last 1 week itself, 3 statements have been issued. A statement has also been made, expressed in Parliament.
This
so,
has been.
Go ahead.
You are silent for 118 days.
Sagarika, at least please let me speak. Sagarika, at least you know this, what is happening in Bangladesh. Being a Bengali, I guess, that this is happening for the last 6 months. Last 6 months. I mean, when Hasina was really in hell, and this government is an illegal government in Bangladesh. Is this a government elected by the people? This is a government consequent to the violence that Bangladesh saw. And at that point of time, Mr. Modi and his foreign minister did nothing, absolutely nothing. Even now, what are you doing? Are you stopping giving them power? You are still giving free power to Bangladesh? You have an NTPC unit in Bangladesh? Who doesn't know this? Please stop this.
But Mr. Mondal, for the last 6 months, this kind of outrage that Mr. Mondal you're expressing today, where was that outrage for the persecution that
outrage was there always. We have been consistently telling this.
How? When?
We have been consistently telling this.
Clearly stated by the Trinamool Congress that the Hindus, the persecution faced by Hindus in Bangladesh is unacceptable.
The state cannot. Don't raise your voice.
You are just playing politics of your convenience. Whenever you feel that you have to attack this government, you raise this issue. Government knows what you are doing.
You did not do anything.
Whether it is sanctions, whether it is pressure, whatever is required, you do.
Now you are lecturing.
The centre
will do that.
Completely running out of time, gentlemen. The centre versus state. The opposition versus government face-off over the persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh continues. But the fact remains, the plight of Hindus is now become a global concern. Today, prayers have been led by the ISKCON over what has been happening to the monks of ISKCON, to the Hindus in Bangladesh, and to the minorities in Bangladesh. Thank you so much for joining us. That continues to be our top focus here on Times.